What would we need to see for you to declare an end of austerity?
Well, the Prime Minister promised it 4 weeks ago. She said austerity will end. And yesterday it didn't end because austerity is rolling out. We've seen some additional money in terms of the health service, but the Health Foundation has said it's nowhere near enough. Our schools, there was no money for the day-to-day running of our schools. They've just faced 8% cut. No money for additional police officers. We've lost 20 police officers, 20,000 police officers off our streets. Violent crime is rising at record levels, and there was nothing for additional police, nothing for our local councils. And when social care is collapsing around our ears in our community, a gap of £1.5 billion, only 650, but half of what's needed. And for children's services, you know, in this country at the moment, we're having the record number of children coming into care since 1985 because of the cut in children's services. A funding gap of £1.5 billion. He offered £84 million. None of this displays austerity coming to an end.
OK, so not enough, it would be your view then, I take from that. The OBR, though, said that this was the largest single-event fiscal loosening at any time since 2010. Did you spot anything even slightly Labour-light about this, the size of this giveaway then, John?
Well, there were a number of tokenistic moves, some of it onto Labour's agenda, of course, because the Conservative Party, to be frank, are bankrupt in terms of ideas. But unfortunately, it was all stunts. It was political stunts. And already what we're seeing is the budget is being unpicked. So head teachers, for example, are saying, where's the money for the schools? I'm laying off teachers at the moment. I can't get support for my special needs children. So head teachers are criticising that. Police officers are taking the government to court just to get their pay award paid. And if you look at what's happening in health, 4 million on the waiting list. This will do nothing for them because our hospitals and our clinical and commissioning groups are already 11 billion in deficit. So people are pretty angry. That was big words yesterday, but no delivery. And I think that's disillusioning people pretty quickly.
Did this have signs of being a pre-election budget? There's a lot of talk about whether it was designed to be that. Do you see this as a pre-election budget?
Maybe. A lot of commentators are saying it because it has all the evidence of what the Tories usually do. The Conservatives usually before an election will cut taxes, and then when they get elected they'll take them back again. So it might well be, but I think it's a reflection that the Conservative Party now are worried that they are going to fall apart over Brexit, and they may well be forced into a general election. So they're preparing the ground, and there's other information about that as well, because it looks as though he said that the departmental budgets are going to be protected. They're not. But even the protections that he is offering is only lasting for a couple of years. So even if it's not an immediate general election, maybe they are planning for one in 18 months' time. But again, I think what will happen now is he's announcing the end of austerity. People will not experience that within their communities over the coming weeks and months. Disillusionment will set in. And if the Conservatives want a general election, bring it on. We're ready for it.
You're ready for it, you say. You have also said that you would vote against the government's Brexit deal if it doesn't deliver against your key tests of the Labour Party, John. Are you still planning to stick to that? Do you still plan to reject any deal that Theresa May comes back from Brussels with?
No, we're not talking about any deal. What we've said, we set out the tests that the government set itself, that the government promised us. And we said, this is what you promised us. We will judge your deal against what you promised. But actually, the key test for us is, will the deal protect the economy and will it protect jobs? If it does, we'll support it. But it's interesting, the Chancellor yesterday was falling out even on the day of the budget with the Prime Minister. And the Chancellor seems to be bobbing and weaving. On the one hand, he's supporting at times the no dealers, and at the other times he's saying we need a deal. We've said to Chancellor Hammond, for goodness sake, stand up and support a deal and get this deal negotiated. If the Conservatives can't negotiate that deal, what we're saying is they should stand to one side and let the Labour Party take over, because we can negotiate a deal which will protect jobs and the economy.